I bring you weapons of war. Because that is what we are fighting right now. A war. A war to save this industry from the cancer that plagues it. And it's not sanctimonious, it's not self righteous, it's factual. And tonight I will give you the tools that you need to fight your battles across the internet and wherever else you may be, in a shop, at home, with friends, with family, with a bunch of morons who think that vaping child appealing labels and contributing to these companies is a good idea. I'm going to give you the whole arsenal. So, first of all, up on the agenda for this weekend, just so you guys know, going live, there will be a basic, I don't know, we may do it in the form of written text, we may do it in the form of not written text, and a verbal verbatim between me and Matt Elliott, who can play a counter argument despite how much he hates it. He does it very well. And we will teach all of you how to argue with these morons that think that it's a good idea to continue to go, but I need the labels to vape it, I need it, because that's how
So
they
sick of
sound.
hearing that.
That's how they sound, because the label gives it flavor. That's that. You know what labels play into with flavor? Kids. So you're arguing with mental midgets, if you will. And I'm done pulling punches. They're morons. So I'm going to teach you how to debate morons and educate morons on the fly. It's going to be great because we're not trying to win friends here, folks. We're not trying to win hearts and minds. We're trying to prove a point and silence the opposition because they're stupid, literally stupid. They don't know what's good for them. It's like, don't drink that. It's strychnine, but it tastes good. That's what we're dealing with, the mental equivalent of. So, let me see here. First of all, I don't know if you guys got the chance to listen to this. Those of you that are still kind of on the fence, that are here, believe in the cause, but are kind of like, I'm going to play something for you right off the rip. I'm going to play a video by Senator Durbin. And Senator Durbin is the Senate Majority Leader in Illinois. So I want you all to hear this. I know my panel will not be able to hear this, but they know what I'm talking about. They've already heard it. It's a 3-minute and 33-second video clip that is titled, okay, and this is his channel, mind you. It is titled, "Hard to Believe That Cartoons and Candy Flavors Don't Increase E-Cigarettes Appeal to Kids." So we can defend the flavors without the cartoon labels, but seeing as that's what's being used against us, I think people should hear this.
I want to thank the chairman for his kind remarks and also my colleagues, and thank you for your patience. And I'm going to submit my statement for the record and first acknowledge the presence of Matt Myers. Matt and I have been in this struggle for a long time, trying to save and spare kids from tobacco and what it does to them. And we know when addictions start, they start in your adolescence. If you can sell an addictive product to an adolescent, you got them. You may have them for life. And that's why a lot of marketing is done for children. Back in the day, it was just bald-faced marketing, Joe Camel and everything you can imagine. And the kids were wearing T-shirts and hats and sadly becoming addicted to products that would absolutely be the end of their healthy lives if they weren't careful. And now we have this argument by the e-cigarette industry that it's just an accident that all your advertising and marketing is appealing to so many kids. That's a little hard to understand.
Let me break that down for you guys for a second here. Now, when he's talking about advertising and marketing and all this other stuff, listen, we don't put fucking ads in Highlight magazine. Sorry, Sherwin, I know you said that to me before to explain the difference between appealing and marketing. I'm stealing it, mine now. But we do not advertise in Highlights magazine. We do not take out ads in front of a fucking daycare, okay? We don't do that. What do? We put it on fucking labels. Period. No matter how you break it down. That, I told you guys this before, with my whole beef with the Hunter bill and its vagueness, is that advertising can be construed as labels. And it's being done right here. So I'm going to continue to let this play. I just want to make sure you understand what he's talking about when he talks about marketing and advertising.
I think it's hard to believe. Look at the numbers here. E-cigarette use among nation's kids is on the rise. CDC released data last year showing in 1 year, from 2011 to 2012, the percentage of middle and high school students who used e-cigarettes more than doubled. They would have you to believe that just happens, it's an accident. We know better. The same study found that 1 in 5 middle school students who reported using e-cigarettes had never even tried a conventional cigarette. This wasn't about finding a way off of smoking. This suggests for many young people, e-cigarettes was a gateway to nicotine addiction and to smoking. The new study by JAMA goes even further. Middle and high school students who use e-cigarettes more likely to smoke traditional cigarettes, less likely to quit smoking. This didn't come from some liberal think tank. JAMA, pediatrics. According to the 2014 Surgeon General's report, many kids and young adults who are occasional smokers go on to become daily smokers, 2,100 of them every single day. I'm not going to give the whole statement here, but there's one part of it I do want to refer to because it harkens me back to an era, Senator Markey, that you will remember well. It was 30 years ago, if you can recall this time, when those 7 tobacco company executives appeared over in the House of Representatives and took an oath that cigarettes and tobacco were not addictive. Now, Lorillard, one of the executives represented Lorillard's back, arguing they don't market to kids. Look at the analysis recently published in the Journal of Pediatrics. Between 2011 and 2013, exposure to e-cigarette marketing by children aged 12 to 17 rose 256%. 24 million kids saw these ads. That's no accident in the world of big business. Lorillard's blue e-cigarette accounted for 80% of this advertising, targeted at 12 to 17 years old. It's the same battle, Mr. Myers. We've been at it before. They want to addict these kids, this time to an e-cigarette, which has a chemical that's addictive. We know what it leads to. Sadly, it leads to tobacco addiction, disease, and death. I don't believe there is a case to be made for e-cigarettes being sold to children. I hope this committee feels the same way.
So, there you have it. Out of the mouth of a fucking senator. Like, this is not a game. This is not a joke. It's not happening. It's not a made-up argument. It's not a fallacy. It's nothing more than the fucking truth. And the truth hurts, and sometimes you have to just deal with it accordingly. Because to them, it's a game. These fools that are defending them don't realize that they're just defending someone else's fucking wallet that could easily have done the right thing ages ago. But this is his thing. He likes ripping off labels, ripping off other companies. Fuck, man, he did the Arizona thing to a T like it was a joke. I'm not mad that he's making money. I don't give a fuck what he's making. The fact of the matter is that it's going to be his actions that will result in an untold amount of deaths when vaping is banned. And when you say, well, vaping's not getting banned, they're only banning flavors, and I'm going to close my monologue with this. When you ban flavors, you might as well just ban vaping altogether, because you're removing people's ability to disassociate nicotine delivery with something other than a tobacco flavor. And that's what makes it worth doing to begin with. That's what makes it so effective.
Yep. And you know what's interesting is when you go ahead and we posted, this blacklist and all these groups, people didn't seem, they disassociated what we were trying to say, and maybe we need to rephrase it better, I don't know. But they said, why are you attacking the labels? Because eventually they'll go after flavors. It's the same damn thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing, man.
It's leverage being used to kill flavors. He just explained it to you in that video. They literally broke down word for word their argument in a way that you can't refute it if it's there. You can't stop it. You can't. They're going to win over and over and over again because they'll just keep getting worse and more dramatic like they did in San Francisco. And if we lose San Francisco and that works, we're fucked. And there's no amount of mental gymnastics that you can do to change it.
You know what really pisses me off is the people who claim, why are you just laying over and taking it? You should be fighting it. What are you doing?
Okay, explain to me how. How do you fight that? How do you fight that when a fucking senator takes a bottle of juice and throws it on the table and goes, tell me that's not advertising to kids? How do you say that? Well, it's sold in an adult environment. And blah, 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 blah. Well, the advertisement says right here, do you remember when you were a kid?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to hear somebody try and diffuse that. You know why? Because you fucking can't. Yeah. You can't.
There was a really good post by Alex Hammond. He's an advocate based out of Pennsylvania, and he did it in DAV. And he agreed 100%, and he wrote a very well-written piece that I went ahead and I posted some of these threads. I said, can I copy it? He said, yeah. And basically, he brought up a very good point that this label issue that we're having right now takes away from advocates, because the time that we spend trying to defend these shitty labels is time that could have been used to talking to a senator or representative and explaining him about the industry, talking to health organizations to understand how vaping works. It's a distraction. It's a reallocation of resources that is unnecessary. It's like being on the battlefield and all of a sudden we're getting attacked from some fucked up position, but for some reason we still got to defend it. So we got to send some people over there to go ahead and make sure that nothing happens.
Yep.
And when in the meantime we've got an enemy staring us straight in the face, and they're called the 435 congressional representatives who need to be educated on vaping and what these regs are going to do to us. Because when you go ahead and you meet your representative and your senator, 99% of the time they don't know anything about this industry, and you got to go ahead and spend time educating them and telling them what this is, who you are, how it affects your district, how many jobs are going to be affected by these regulations. And instead he holds up this stupid fucking label in your face, and you've got to go and you got to give the speech. Well, it's an adult environment. This is an adult product sold in an adult environment. We understand that there are some labels that are out there, but aside from that particular issue, you got to make the spiel. But instead of trying to push my agenda on him and trying to convince him that vaping is going to save lives, I've got to say, no, we are not that type of industry. That just happens to be a simple case, but it's just a reallocation of resources, and it's frustrating, and it's so simple to fix.
Yep. That's the most fucked up part, Sherwin. It's so easy to fix.
And the crazy thing about it is that you can't tell them, oh, that's one guy. There's hundreds of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, out of all the flavors that they chose to represent the flavored tobacco products in the vaping industry, they choose the most IP theft, they choose the most appealing labels. We know damn well there's about 20,000 other flavors that probably have even more of a better sweet taste, but are not in those labels that they didn't touch.
Mm-hmm. Well, because there's the thing. This is what everybody needs to understand. Nobody is questioning your parenting skills. Everybody takes it as, when you say something about it, that you are telling them that they're a bad parent. No one's saying you're a bad parent, dude. No one's saying that. No one's saying that, you can't handle your kids. No one's saying that, like they're not smart. No one's saying that at all. The politicians are, and they're using that as leverage and their point of attack, because it's about the kids. And if you don't vote with them, you don't support kids. No politician in their right mind is going to go against that unless they have some serious shit in their arsenal. And when something like that is used against them, they have nothing. They have nothing. You literally, you ever seen X-Men where Magneto walks into the room and he just goes boom, and the gun's like whoosh, all the pieces fall apart? That's what they do to their entire argument. They got nothing. They can't defend against that.
Yeah, and what people say is that, oh, well, this is going to make a difference because they'll go after the flavors, but you don't understand. We've got scientific evidence that says that flavors help people quit.
Mm-hmm.
This is an objection from our opponents that is easily destroyed. Just change the fucking label. Yeah. That's it.
Exactly.
And then you have people that we're seeing on these posts that don't seem to grasp what we're getting, and maybe we're not conveying it the way that we should. Maybe on that first post I'll restructure it a little bit differently, but they seem to think that, well, this is an issue of bad parenting. It's like, dude, you're talking about a social issue. This is a political issue.
Correct.
And you don't understand that all of your arguments, even though they're valid and reasonable, and I understand where you're coming from, doesn't attack the enemy that's directly in front of us. If you're getting attacked by flaming balls of fire, you're going to use water to try to go ahead and quench it. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to pull the actual narrative out from under their feet by just changing the label. And it's so simple.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll never see a label like this on the floor of Congress.
No.
Fighting a flavor ban.
No.
They're not. The politicians aren't talking about labels, but when they go into a shop and they're trying to find something to meet their narrative, and they've got this bottle or they've got a bottle of Candy King sitting beside of it, which one are they grabbing?
Mm-hmm.
They don't care what the flavor is. Candy King could be flavored fucking ass, but the fact that it has that label on it is what they grab. That's all they care about.
What's their new flavor now?
Yeah, they stuffed it in a gumball machine. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because I mean, really? I mean,
watermelon Jolly Rancher. You would never suspect it.
No.
And you would never see that label on the floor of Congress fighting a flavor ban.
Nope. Never would happen. Because here's the thing, guys. It's not about what you think it is. It's actually pretty complicated. And I'm going to break this down for you so you understand what they're doing. Because some people just think they just want to kill vaping because they're dicks. It's a little bigger than that. It's not just about playing into the hands of the big tobacco companies, because they want vaping to stay too, because they know that once people switch to vaping that they have no chance in hell in fucking staying alive, so they'll move over to that market too. This is what it is. I believe it was back in the 60s? Was it the 60s when they got sued? 60s or 70s? What was that, Sherman? The tobacco companies got sued and they settled.
Oh, the master settlement agreement was in the 80s.
It was in the 80s.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was...
Or 90s, I think,
maybe.
actually.
Hold on.
Yeah.
90s, and it settled 2000, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, that's how recent this was. You know?
Oh, let's see here. Master Settlement Agreement, Public Health Law Center. It was an accord reached in 1998, so almost 2000. Very nice, man. Very nice. So, listen. So this is what it is, right? So, based off of what they were supposed to be acquiring between that and the tobacco taxes and everything else, the states, all these dumb motherfuckers, sold bonds. Okay? They sold bonds. Now, you're not really supposed to sell a bond on a non-secured income. Like, you sell it on like things that are like gold, silver. It may depreciate in value at some point, but most of the time it goes up. Commodities, things that are physical, that have value. They sold it off of the revenue from the tax because they thought, surely these dumb sons of bitches will never find a way to quit smoking. We got them. And then lo and behold, the consumer found a way to save themselves. That's a problem, because they sold these bonds based off of that revenue. That revenue is on its way into the shitter, which you can statistically look up and you'll see what I'm talking about. They're going to default on these bonds, and they know it, and they're in big trouble because it's illegal to sell a fucking bond on a non-secure income. Tax is not a secure thing.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, but you pay for it. I mean, that's the way the bond. I used to work at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and bonds are based on inflationary measures and risk. And based on the risk, you pay more for the bond, or less for the bond, you get more return.
Right.
And it's reverse in the ratio between bond price and interest rate. But yeah, I mean, it's just they're losing money left and right.
Yep.
And they need to grab additional resources, and they're looking to vaping.
And the other thing is if they kill vaping completely, which is the easy way, because if you can't regulate something to death, you legislate it to death. That's the general. I mean, look at guns. They're trying. They are so trying. Whether you support gun control or not, it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Is that if they cannot kill it through regulation, they will kill it through legislation. So their mission is to do that. So you think to yourself, gee, how does this tie into flavors? Well, when you kill the need, or the what's the word I'm looking for here? The desire, but it's one more thing. It's the catalyst that makes it so effective. When you remove that from the equation, you end up with a device that is more annoying than just taking your cigarette out of your pocket and your lighter and just going boop, Because it's a tobacco flavor anyway. What the fuck do you care? Healthy alternative? Bro, you picked up smoking. That's the way they look at it. There's nothing about it that's fun anymore. There's nothing enjoyable. You're not going to fucking sub them a fucking tobacco flavor and blow a 12-foot cloud. It's not happening. So
Yeah.
all the joy that is leading a healthier lifestyle is now gone, and you're stuck with a closed system, tobacco flavored ego pen. And if you want to be really spicy, maybe, I don't know, a little one of those little tanks with the interchangeable coils. I don't even know what we call them anymore. But that's what you're left with. That's the plan.
And they're already here.
They're here. They're doing it now. That is, and I've been saying that part for 3 years, but now it's even more relevant because it's happening. And I'm really trying to help you guys here and make that stop, but
They're out there.
they're out there fighting you tooth and claw in the fucking local governments trying to not default on these bonds. And it's not a conspiracy. It's pretty obvious. I mean, just look at it. That's what's happening.
I mean, our opponents are these health organizations, and these health organizations are incredibly well funded because a portion of the master settlement agreement revenue goes to these health organizations. They go to tobacco-free kids, and these are the people that have the ears of these senators and representatives who know nothing about this industry. So it's very easy to spew this to them, and they're like, "Ah, this makes fucking complete sense. If I didn't know anything about this industry and they came." I mean, you're in sales, Tristan. Wouldn't this be an easy sell to someone who doesn't know anything about this industry?
Yes.
Yeah. So we are outgunned. We are out-revenued, outspent in every way, shape, or form. And now we've got to allocate more resources to fucking shitty juice companies and shitty labels?
Mm-hmm.
This is where it's got to stop. It's got to end.
Because here's the thing. People can't go fight for you when they have to show up unarmed and the guy at the desk that they're arguing with has a loaded gun.
Yeah.
That you gave them the bullets.
And you gave it to him. And you were like, please
That
shoot
you-
them.
Gave it to him. You're paying the money to give to him, which makes it even more frustrating. And these people that are defending this don't seem to understand that. They don't seem to understand that you are supplying the revenue to these companies that it's being used in our opponent's narrative to support flavor bans in local municipalities, in state issues. And it's just the death trap. And another thing that I want to point out is that for a lot of you people out there, I want you to understand that it's not big tobacco that we are up against. It's big pharma.
Mm-hmm.
Tobacco-Free Kids is sponsored by the Master Settlement Agreement and by funding that they receive from Johnson & Johnson, which happens to be related to Big Pharma, obviously, and the nicotine patch, who's losing revenue tremendously because of the increase of vapor users throughout the country.
Mm-hmm.
So don't quit saying that it's big tobacco, because oddly enough, they got vapor products too.
Yes.
And they are supporting some. Like I said, we don't agree with what they are, what they're doing right now. But we're two ships sailing in the same direction. We're probably going to bump heads later on when the regulations come into effect, because I'm sure they're going to want very strict regulations that would benefit them. But in the meantime, we're using them just like they're using us.
Right. It's like Dimitri and I said, and when we had that talk not that long ago. He said, we're not always going to see eye to eye, and I was like, definitely not. And he said, we're going to agree on 75% of things. I said, sure. And he goes, and then 25%, once vaping is saved, we can deal with that later. And I was like, absolutely. And so, case in point, that's kind of what the tobacco company's doing with us, because they will lose at the same time, because that means, well, wouldn't they technically be losing menthol cigarettes too, because they're flavored as well, correct?
Yes.
Because it's only tobacco flavor. So that means Newport's fucked. That ain't gonna roll.
No, I think menthol will be protected.
They'll have
I
to
think
fight for the menthol.
It's
Not in
tobacco.
San Francisco, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
No,
Okay.
it's one of the big things that's on the board.
Yep.
Oh, they're getting rid of menthol too.
Yeah.
Because hey, listen, the funny thing, it targets black youth
Mhm.
and the lesbian, gay, and transgender.
Community.
Yeah.
That
That's
video?
what. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
what Mila Cohen put up. That was her thing, and that's currently Truth's thing, where they're doing the stop profiling thing, and it's like, come on, when do you stop? You know,
Play
and
every card in their book.
they'll use everything at their disposal because here's the thing: it doesn't matter what you think about them. You're not paying them. Smokers are paying them. You know, the people we're trying to convert. So that being said, we are a direct threat to them. So what do? They attack flavors, and by default, because we are classified by the FDA as a tobacco product, they are also attacking us without having to say anything because they don't want to have to battle us all day. They don't want to do that because we're a force to reckon with. Vapors don't fuck around. They find out that they're getting dragged down because they're labeled as a tobacco product and you're trying to kill flavored tobacco. They gonna be pissed. So they're doing everything in their power to avoid that narrative, even though that is the narrative they have.
Yeah, and it's interesting to note that with you wouldn't have seen this. I hate to say it. I don't want to be a cliche, but the Barack Obama administration, they were all for menthol. You know,
It's true.
I was a menthol
yeah, it's true.
smoker.
So
I
was
was a
I.
menthol smoker too. Yeah,
When I smoked
Yeah.
weed, I was a menthol smoker. When I became an alcoholic, I was a Marlboro 27 guy. 2 packs a day, every day.
and this is the only country that is against health or smoking
Oh
cessation.
yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
only one. I mean, their policy, if you were to go ahead and look at tobacco-free kids, they'd be like, you should just fucking quit. You should quit. That's it. That's your only solution to your problem
Mhm.
is to quit. We don't even want you to even try anything else because of the children. I mean, and meanwhile, you've got Europe and the UK, which just came out with a new study which said that there has been an actual decrease in smokers because of vaping. And this was a brand new study that just came out from the UK.
Mhm.
So it's unbelievable.
Well, because it's like it's as simple as this. In this country, you do not pay to get cured. You get paid to get treated. Cancer industry is huge. It's a giant industrial complex. They are not going to let that go. They are not
Yeah.
going to reduce that funding. If you find a way to cure cancer by preventing it from happening, by removing the largest cancer causing element in the world, not in this house, it ain't happening. That's the way the
Yeah.
federal government looks at it because big pharma, big health insurance,
Yep.
big hospital, they ain't going to let that go.
Yep. If you look over in Europe where you have socialized medicine, they want you to get better because they
Bingo.
don't want to they don't want to treat you because they're trying to save money.
Hmm.
Over here, it's not like that.
No, because it's a capitalist thing. Now, don't get me wrong. We do have some crazy ass cures that come out of this because people get paid to find new and inventive ways to make illnesses not kill you so they can milk you for more money later on down the road. But that's not the point. The point is that when you make it so that the government has to pay for your bills for health, then they want vaping to stick around. But when you're
Mhm.
paying for the bills, they're telling you, fuck you, buddy. You
Yeah.
pay for it.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Going back
It's-
to what you were just talking about, I was just looking into it just a little bit about the master settlement agreement.
Hmm.
Just to give you guys an idea, the state of California in 2014 was promised $726 million from the master settlement agreement. Okay,
Is that a year?
for the year 2014.
So that's their revenue projection per year for that agreement.
Well, this is just going back to that one particular year. This is all.
Yeah, one particular year. So let's assume that that's what they project every year.
But they sold 796 billion dollars worth of bonds. So they sold more bonds off of that money than what they were actually projected to receive. Now, the master settlement agreement will drop. The income that the states get drops depending on how much income the tobacco manufacturers make, correct? Sherwin?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The states, the income that they receive from the master settlement agreement will
Right.
drop depending on how much, it could drop or rise depending on how much money the tobacco manufacturers make for that year.
Yeah, it's a
Correct.
percentage. Yes.
Correct. So if less people are smoking, then they're not going to be receiving as much revenue from the master settlement agreement.
So with that said, it's a very good potential. The state of California is going to default on those bonds
Oh yeah,
because they're not bringing
absolutely.
enough money to cover
Yeah, I mean,
what
because
they
I
sold.
mean, you're selling what 15-year bonds, 30-year bonds, and they're projecting the amount of revenue that they're going to be receiving during that time period, and their projections got fucked because of
Yep.
vaping.
Oh, big time. Big time.
Yeah,
That's why it needs to go away, which brings us back to full circle on why the labels have got to go. No one's trying to take your flavors away. No one's saying the labels have got to go is saying you got to ban fucking flavors. That's the dumbest thing ever. Nobody's saying that. That has
yeah,
never been said. The reason why the labels have to go is to protect flavors because they're using the labels to kill it. You know,
Exactly.
it's very simple. Now that you know
yeah.
the entire reason for why this is happening, now you see why it's being done with the labels because you can't kill flavors because it's illogical.
But these people are fucking are paranoid. They'll go ahead and they'll say that, oh, it's going to be flavors. I mean, so they're not going to stop just at labels. It's going to be flavors, and they're all intertwined.
Right,
They're all intertwined.
right.
So you can't. It doesn't make any sense. And then if you go, well, if you give the government an inch, they'll take a mile, brother. They will always take a mile, no
Hmm.
matter what. You've got to make a stand. You
Right,
got to do something, and
but
by doing nothing, you're giving up.
right. And the other thing is too is that we have science and facts on our side to protect the flavors. We don't have that to protect the labels because the labels are fucking cancer. They're on fire. You don't touch fire. Fire hot. Fire bad. So you have to put out the fire.
Alan, get that new CDC study that came out showing a decrease of usage amongst teens for vaping. They just came out with a new survey right now from the CDC that actually has showed a decrease in vaping usage amongst teens. This is from the CDC, and that just shoots a hole into this gateway theory that they've been trying to pass, saying, well, if you got vaping and it appeals to kids, then they're going to keep on, they're going to keep on vaping and go to cigarettes. Well, guess what,
3
bitch?
million high school students in 2015 to just under 2.2 million in 2016.
Oh, look at
And
that.
that's the decline of all tobacco products, is what it says,
Thank
including
you,
e-cigarettes.
Thank you, Corey. Falling from 16% to 11.3% from 2015 to 2016.
Gee, that doesn't really fit their narrative, does it?
No.
No, they won't talk about that because that's not their goal. Their goal isn't to protect the kids. That's the big thing to take away from this. That's not their goal. They try to say, "Oh man, the FDA regulations totes did that." No, motherfuckers, we did it. Vapors did it. People like Matt did it, saying, "No, you can't have it." But both Matts, motherfuckers got a stack. And you sure when I'm saying responsible shop owners, what I'm saying is that he's got a collection of fucking fake IDs. That's impressive. That's some shit
I
right
know.
there.
It
That is
really
some
is.
shit. You know what I'm
Reminds me
saying?
when I was a bouncer and I used to take that shit. I was like,
Yep.
But
And
it's crazy.
and to touch on even more, you got to understand something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but have we not already reached out to many of these companies already going, hey, look, I see what you're doing, but maybe your label should be a little bit different? I'm pretty sure we've reached out to
Yes.
a couple of companies.
Oh my God, so many.
Every advocacy group has approached them. Every advocate has approached them.
And what's their response?
Fuck you.
Hmm.
Pretty much.
And that's the
to
problem.
top that off, too, they don't care about you. So right now, I'm specifically talking to the fanboys, the dick riders, excuse the language on that. They don't care about you. They want your money, plain and simple. I understand you want to be a diehard supporter for whatever company you believe in, but they do not care about you. If they did care about you, they would conform and change the labels to protect you and to protect themselves. What do they care about?
Hmm.
And that's exactly
getting-
the reason I'm diehard fan of the items that I enjoy, because the companies I support me and support this industry.
Correct.
100%.
Correct. And
Yep.
that's really what it boils down to is that, you're contributing by supporting them. It's like being, I'm going to go ahead and make this analogy, and I don't care who gets triggered by it, but it's the truth, and it's the best one I can make. It's like being a Jew and being a Nazi sympathizer.
That's exactly right. That's a very good point.
That is exactly what you're doing. They're saying, to the chamber, and you're like, they're okay. They're good
I was going to
guys.
say it's like being in a bad abusive relationship.
Meh. Okay, that's puts it to perspective because they're going to
Stockholm
result in
syndrome.
the death of so many people. That's exactly what's happening. They are going to kill people over money and profits, and you're going, they're okay, guys.
Yeah. Why are you
It's not
picking on?
gonna
Why are you
happen to
picking
us.
on them? Why are you picking on them?
Poor rich guys. They can't speak for themselves. We have to defend them. They want our money. We got to give it to them to keep those labels alive. No.
I mean, dude just bought a Ferrari and a Rolex. Like, it
Yeah.
was nothing.
Probably a Folex. I mean, let's be real. The
Yeah.
Ferrari's probably a kit car.
Clone
Right.
Ferrari.
It's a
body
Fiero.
kit.
It's a Fiero.
There's one
a
parked
Fiero.
on the side of the
The
street.
kit cart.
There's
Throw
one parked down the
Fieros.
street for me for sale. I totally want to buy it and make a clone Ferrari.
Shit, I
Don't
bought
get
one.
hit in the side.
Why?
That was my second car. It was the worst fucking car ever. That transmission.
You get hit in the
sucked.
side, you're
So
toast.
what you're saying is don't buy the kit car.
Yeah, don't buy it.
But I want to troll people at car meets and be like, it's the same thing. Especially dudes that are vaping clones. Be like, it's the same.
Oh, damn, that'd be hilarious.
It's the same. But nope, it's the same. Look, I can outrace you and get my doors blown off by a Mustang. Yeah, that's what I want. It's just this guy. I'm sorry. There's nothing to do with what we're doing. I'm just being a dick right now. I'm an asshole. You're a good guys. Notice this is not new thing. So I guess the big point that you guys need to take away from this is that just because you're facing a shitload of opposition when dealing with these clowns, you're not in the wrong. In no way, shape, or form. Just because you don't know how to respond to straight obstinance, somebody just being oppositional because that's what they're doing, it's not you, it's them.
Yes.
You are right.
Yes, and don't be disillusioned. If if you want to get involved, the best way to do it, obviously, is be respectful, because you got to think about everything that you put in writing. It's going to be read, and don't think about what you are writing to the person that you're writing to at the time. Think about the person that's going to be reading it later. So, if you want to get involved in these conversations, please do. But also understand that what you say is going to be reread by others.
Mm-hmm.
So try to be as knowledgeable and respectful as you possibly can. Because if you go ahead and you throw out insults, it's totally going to dilute your message, and all they're going to hear are the insults.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just
And it's
pepper
hard.
them. It's hard. It's difficult.
It's very hard.
It's very hard. I've wanted to pull my hair out, but you've got to wear these people down to prove your point. And Alan and I, and I'm sure others, have been up to the late mornings arguing, and we finally got our point across, or the other person just stopped arguing, and people are going to read that, and we are changing people's opinion. Regardless of what you think, we are getting good feedback. I understand what you're saying. Oh, gee, I didn't realize it. Thank you for bringing this up. We're seeing it all the time. What you're seeing is maybe the 1, 2, 3 dick bags that just don't fucking get it. Those are the ones that you are trying to go ahead and you're not winning that argument with them. You're winning that argument for others. So when you go into these conversations, understand that it's going to take time, it's going to take patience, but stay the course, because it will pay off. And it will take some time.
I'm looking
I
down.
understand that it's going to get
Muted.
really, really, really bloody before it gets better.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Ain't no doubt about it.
Like I said, guys,
Oh,
we
yeah.
are in a war, and
Yep.
you got to be prepared to dig in and just fight the fight, and not emotionally detach from it. Like I see a lot of you guys get like super emotionally invested in it. That's awesome, but never let it show.
Yeah,
Never.
vent to us, vent to me. Dude, I'll be right there with you. Dude, I'm feeling you right now. I'm ready to fucking hit something. Ready to pull my hair out.
Hey,
Talk
you
to
can
me,
always
man.
reach out to me. I don't
Yeah,
sleep.
reach out to Matt,
Everyone
reach
knows
out to
that.
Alan. Yeah,
And if you ever need to learn, not learn it, or, because most of y'all know how to argue, we're the Legion, that's what we do. But if you ever really need to win an argument and you want to know what to do so that you have a third, not, like I said, emotionally invested person looking at the argument, just tell me what you need. I'll phrase that shit for you like that. I'm
yeah,
quick. And the
Yeah.
people don't like that because they're typing their response and I'm already 8 posts ahead of them. You know what I mean? Because it's all the same. It's the same dance, the same waltz, the same circular argument. You know what I mean? They start here, they go around here, and we end up back where they were, acting like they proved a point. And then I drop that video, and they shut down because they have nothing. Because that's what they
yeah.
have. They have nothing. Because I want them to spit their ignorance and then find out that they are dead wrong, and then they just look at it and go. And I guarantee you, they will never jump on one of those posts again. They
I'm
Yeah.
going
know
to
it.
try to, with Tristan's permission, tomorrow post a file in Legion with all the links that you would maybe ever need for the argument. So
Yeah, links
may.
and those
videos,
videos too.
You may.
pictures, all that stuff.
Yeah,
You
it's very,
may.
very helpful.
Absolutely have my approval for that.
That
100%.
The
way
new
you can
CD,
just grab it and go.
You don't need to
yeah,
ask for things like that. If it seems like a good idea with information, oh, you are default approved.
the new
Absolutely.
CDC study. It's very good. The
Yes.
video that we have. If we can crop anything from that San Francisco committee hearing, that would be wonderful. I know it's 3 hours long. Were you able to see anything in that, Alan?
I haven't got a chance to watch it all. I've pretty much watched what you had said.
That
What
one
really
section.
stuck out to me was, and correct me if I mess up this quote, but he said that the tobacco industry does not target us, and by us he's meaning rich white guys. Okay, he said his exact words were the tobacco industry targets blacks and the lesbian, gay, and trans communities because of the products are found in their corner stores. That was a little sickening to me to hear that.
Yeah, and the thing is that when they when these organizations present their narrative to these council members, they paint it as big tobacco.
Hmm.
They don't paint us as the vaping industry.
Not only that, they need victims, and that's
Oh,
where
yeah.
the parading of the students, the teacher, talking about black youth and gays and so forth. These are right now in this country communities that are having issues. I guess is the best way to say it. You see what I'm saying? So it
Controversial.
works to fall into their narrative because now they can say, well, here's another problem. Here's another reason the black community, as an example, is being held down. Look at what big tobacco is doing to the black community.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
smoking rates are much higher in the LGBT community and
It's
in
40% or something like that.
yeah,
Jesus.
and in the African American community. So they're using that, but that's ever more reason why these people need flavors to quit.
Hmm.
It's very, very important.
Yep.
And and it would be very interesting to see a study of vaping products within these communities to see how it works. Um, I'm sure that will happen eventually. Science is on our side, guys. The problem is that we need time,
Yeah.
and we need the time to either get a legal win or to get a legislative win, like Cole Bishop, or to get an administrative win with the FDA going on our side and saying, all right, we're going to readjust these regulations. So we got three things going at the time. But in the meantime, whatever we can do to help this move forward, that's what we need to do. And as consumers, we are asking for your support to stop supporting these companies that really don't care about this industry, are in it for the almighty buck, and all they really need to do is just change their labels. We don't want these companies to go out of business. We're not attacking these companies to say they should leave. We just want them to do responsible marketing. Okay? Now, responsible marketing, does that mean that you agree that they marketed children? That's not the point. The point is that's not our narrative. That's our opponent's narrative. And if we want to get rid and destroy that opponent's narrative, all we need to do is change the labels. It's really simple.
If we take away the ability for them to have a victim, they have nothing.
Yeah,
They've got nothing. Literally
Yeah.
nothing. They have absolutely jack shit because they can't pull the health claim anymore because all of a sudden all the studies get thrown in their face and they go, "Oh, we need to do some more homework," and then they find out we don't have that. What do we got, guys? Well, we can blame them targeting kids, and then that's it. That's perfect because it's going to win them their support that they need, especially where it's a Democrat majority because of, like I said last show, the American Cancer Society and the American Lung Association and their platform, Our Children, Our Future. That's all they need. So whether that other Democratic senator agrees with you or not, the chances of him doing it your way are going from 50-50 without that to 80-20.
Yeah, and time is not on these health organizations' side, and they know it, and that's why you're seeing all these flavor bans. Because if we had more time, the science will back us. Because if they try to attack us on the flavor issue, we've got science saying that flavor is extremely important to help people quit smoking. It's available now, and we're going to get more of those studies, either from the UK or here in the States. But you can just see that there is in the air a desperation for these organizations to push their agenda because they know they don't have the time that they need. So they're like, let's strike when they're weak. Let's strike when they don't have the ammunition to defend themselves. Well, I got some news for you. We've got ammunition. We've got consumers that care. And it's up to us to spread the word so that every other consumer and vapor knows that these types of manufacturers are not the ones that we need to support. And again, I'm speaking as a consumer, as an advocate. I am not speaking for my organization or for any advocacy group that I represent. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer.
And I'll put this out there too. And these are my opinions. This isn't the opinions of anyone else on the panel. It might be, I don't know. But if you're a Facebook group admin and someone makes a post in your group, challenging these labels, and you delete that post, you're just as responsible for supporting them as everyone else.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because there may be someone in your group that really just doesn't know and doesn't understand that there's a problem with it.
Yeah,
and by not allowing them that education, you might as well be producing those labels as well.
Exactly. Now is the time to engage. If you see anyone doing these posts, engage it, because this is a healthy debate. We're not trying to be dicks. We're trying to educate the consumers and the vaping consumers that don't know. I mean, it's very easy to go ahead and shut off, and which some people have done and turned off and blocked me from certain groups because they didn't want the drama. The point here is that now is the time to engage. If you see a post showing these types of e-liquids being supported, call them out.
Debate it, argue it, have your well-constructed arguments. Keep
Indeed.
it in the realm of vaping, though.
Yes.
And if you are someone... I'm sorry, Grim.
Don't let them bring it into, what about the alcohol industry? What about the candy industry? What about the firearm industry? What about your civil liberties? Don't let that get affected at all. This is about vaping, plain and simple. And that's what me and Tristan are going to be doing, is we're going to be making those counter arguments.
Yep.
We got you.
Yeah.
And if you're someone who's making these posts, respect the group and don't put 15 of the damn same exact post. Yeah. One post is good enough.
Yeah, one post is good.
As long as the admins are allowing the post to go, that one post is enough to get everything we need into that one post. We don't need 100 posts of the exact same damn picture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the group, because that's what pisses admins off, and that's the reason why admins are going to remove posts and so forth.
I mean, we posted like on Thursday, and it's still going strong. Yeah,
it's amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
Like 400, 500
quality work
comments by now.
Quality work.
Yeah.
And Quinn is exactly right. Instagram is really where the battle needs to take place. So if you have Instagram, we've got pictures posted in Legion. Use those.
Yep.
Tag the manufacturer in your post.
Because people will see
If
it.
it's Dripmore, if it's Candy King or whoever the hell it may be, tag them in that post.
Mm-hmm.
Have
Don't forget about Steve Pop D's, because those motherfuckers fucked us in San Francisco.
Exactly.
Oh, that's going to be next week.
Oh, we got you guys covered. We got you covered.
That'll be next week. Have we heard anything from Dripmore or Candy King?
I will tell you that on Jennifer Levy, she had posted on Instagram basically hashtag rebrand or go away up underneath post of Dripmores. They re-hashtagged that same thing, so it was basically laughing in her face.
Oh.
They can laugh now. That's fine.
What a dick.
Well, then they'll just continue on for another week then.
Yeah.
It's okay, because we can add, the other clowns into it, and then we'll just, you know what I mean? It's not hard to add an extra image. We'll just keep going until it's like 10,000 images, and people open it. Oh my God!
Megan said Dripmore started trolling some of our own today.
And that's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Ah.
They're not very good at it. I mean, you just call them, just refer to them as, listen, cancer. It's time for some chemo.
If you go on Instagram right now and hashtag Candy King, I mean, that's all you see. The first page is our pictures.
Yeah. It's fucking glorious. Glorious.
Shout out to Jesse Marie today, because somebody posted something in CV. I think it was Joseph Tui, and they were like, "Oh, their Instagram's on some shit right there," and I was like, "Oh, we can kill that real quick. Jesse, mind killing that hashtag real quick, please?" Just done, dead. That shit was amazing. I'm like, I don't know how Instagram works. Good for you.
We're a little bit behind, but
we need Instagram warriors
today.
Was that?
We're a little bit behind, but this was earlier today.
That's fucking hilarious. Holy shit.
Oh God, that's great.
And that's what happens when you hashtag that name in your post. So make sure, don't just post, this is shit juice or whatever. Hashtag that, so that way it shows up. And if someone else goes on, if someone walks into a shop and they say, "Oh, that looks good," well, here I'm on Instagram. Let's see what it's about. Oh shit! And they hashtag Candy King, and that's what all they see. You may change someone's perception.
Mm-hmm. I think we need an Instagram battalion.
We could set that up very easily.
Yeah, I think we need that very, very much so, because I'm more Facebook. I'm not Instagram, but I'm sure there are some people out there that are part of Legion, and I think we need to allocate an army or a battalion specifically towards that mission.
Well, that can happen. That'd be easily done. I can set that up over the weekend too. I have such a fun-filled weekend this week. It's gonna be great.
Yeah,
God! Double time, motherfucker!
And everyone, I want you all to know that we are not alone in this battle.
Oh God, no!
We have the support of, at least from what I hear, I'm not saying it as a fact, but it's my impression that we've got the support of many of the advocacy groups, many of the people who are advocates, people who are e-juice manufacturers who are doing the right thing, that understand how detrimental this stuff is to the industry. So we are not alone.
Mm-mm.
Obviously, they can only do so much, but they are relying on the consumer to make an effect. And
also,
that is
with your dollar.
Yeah, and that is where we step in. That is our strength, because we can do things that people in the industry cannot do. So don't think for one moment that this is a futile effort. We have, in my opinion, support.
All right. With that being said, we are going to keep this one to the hour and to the point, because it's important, So that being said, I wish you all a happy Father's Day, those of you that are dads, and because it's about to be, and stay savage, stay doing you, stay vigilant, motherfuckers. We got work to do. Let's keep going, because we ain't gonna stop, can't stop, we won't stop. So I think it's outro time. So
good night, everybody.
That being said,
adios.
Unity.
Unity.